Let's move on to main topic number 3, shall we? And our third main topic today gets submitted to us by Walton Maguire. And Walton Maguire writes, "Hello, John and Erin." If she's there, and she is here, as a matter of fact.
Yes, she is. Hello.
One of the movies I'm really excited about is Eternals. You, me, and a lot of people, my friend. I was bummed when it got knocked out to 2021, but it's getting closer. Just wondering if you saw what Kumail Nanjiani's comments about the movie. It pushed my excitement into overdrive. What did you think about his comments, and do they get you more hyped for Eternals? Thanks. All right. Thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And of course, not the next MCU movie to come, because the next MCU movie we're waiting on is, of course, Black Widow. But the next big one after that is Eternals, with a killer cast, top to bottom, being led by Angelina Jolie. And one of my favorite guys in Hollywood ever since I saw The Big Sick. One of my favorite guys in Hollywood, Kumail Nanjiani. This dude is absolutely bonkers hilarious. I love watching this guy on screen, even when I'm not even particularly fond of the movie he's in. Stuber anybody. That being said, I love Kumail Nanjiani. And Kumail Nanjiani came out, and he was talking a little bit about Eternals, and he said this. He said, "I know there isn't much news yet. I'm in the dark too, like just about, hey, when's the trailer's going to drop and all this kind of stuff. I'm in the dark too, trust me. I can't wait for it, whenever it comes. But I promise the movie will be worth the wait. It is the most exciting, fun, epic, thrilling, hilarious, and moving project I have ever been a part of." This is the guy from The Big Sick saying this is going to be more moving than anything. Really? Because The Big Sick was pretty damn moving.
And he wrote it about him and his wife.
And it's damn hilarious. And it's damn hilarious. Project I've ever been a part of. And it's massive. The scale of it is unlike anything I have ever seen. I would walk on to shoot and be awestruck by the sets every single day, he says. All right. First thing I should mention to get this out of the way. This is one of the stars of the movie. I mean, what do we expect him to say? Yeah, it's going to be all right. No, of course he's going to hype it up. But still, with that grain of salt there, it is cool to hear a guy who's kind of as blunt and as he just wears his heart on his sleeve as Kumail Nanjiani to talk so much about this. And look, it shouldn't surprise us too terribly much. This, of course, is a project that was able to lure Angelina Jolie to come into the world and become kind of the head and the main face of it, as well as a lot of other players. It is the MCU. It is under Kevin Feige. So, I mean, maybe we shouldn't be all that shocked and surprised. Does Kumail's comments get me more hyped for the movie? Even knowing this is just PR coming from one of the stars, I'd be lying if I said it didn't increase my excitement at least by a little bit. And I'm already pretty excited for Eternals. I mean, it's not my most anticipated film but for 2021 by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm excited for it. And even though this is one of the stars of the movie, I got to say, Erin, it does get me even a little bit more excited. So I like hearing this type of enthusiasm. Erin, you've heard Kumail's comments here. Are you more excited for Eternals now? Or as an actress yourself, do you know that this is just part of the game and it doesn't really move your needle? What are you thinking right now?
Well, first, I love that the graphic, I know that you didn't choose this graphic, but I love that the graphic that was chosen behind the quote was him shirtless, which I think is just going to be like the image. I mean, it just, Kumail Nanjiani's transformation for this film, and his physique being plastered everywhere is quite funny, and good for him for having the commitment. No, this doesn't sound like an actor just kind of giving fluff, because this isn't happening at a press junket. This isn't happening. He doesn't have to go into that much superfluous detail about his enthusiasm over the film at this point in the game. We haven't even seen excuse me, we haven't seen a trailer. There's a picture for you. There it is.
He got, because if you saw The Big Sick, he's not a big guy.
Well, I mean, I'm a huge Silicon Valley fan, and he's that. You would just never expect that from him. It's kind of like when Ryan Reynolds made his transformation from being the National Lampoon guy to how he looked in Blade 3. Right. And it transformed his career. So good for him. Good for Kumail. This sounds really authentic. He doesn't give off that he's the type of Hollywood actor that just blows smoke for the sake of blowing smoke. Again, we're so far away from the film actually coming out that this sounds to me like a guy who is really excited, who is almost as if he's a fan himself. And when you see someone that, like you said, wears his heart on his sleeve, doesn't seem to give a lot of, doesn't seem to blow smoke a lot for projects that he's in. He's not just saying, oh yeah, it seems like it's going to be a really cool project and they clearly spent a lot of money because the sets were amazing. No, he is as excited about this film as, maybe fans who have seen the first trailer would be. So I think this is a really good indication that there's something exciting coming down the pipeline. I am looking forward to seeing a trailer. I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more about the story and where they're going to go, like how far into the comics are actually going to delve. And if he's excited, I'm excited. I'm a fan.
Listen, I'm always looking forward to trailers for movies I'm excited about and that I want to see. But with Eternals, there's more. Like I'm more excited for the trailer for Eternals almost than I am for the movie itself, because I have no idea what this movie's even going to feel like. Mm-hmm. Look, yeah, I'm looking forward to a trailer for Godzilla versus Kong, but I know what that movie's going to be, right? I'll look forward to the next trailer for Black Widow, but you know what that movie's going to feel like.
Right.
You can look forward to the next, maybe Amazon's a Lord of the Rings show, but you know what it's going to feel like. What they're going to do with Eternals, I have no idea. I have no idea what this is going to feel like.
Do you know offhand who is directing? Who's the director?
I forget her name. I should, let me pull.
Oh, she's, I saw a picture of her yesterday.
I'll pull it up here. So the
Asian woman. Yes,
I knew that. Chloe Zhao. That's who's directing it. That's
he speaks very highly of her,
right?
And says that she just doesn't. What is her background? Like, I'm just curious, because a lot of times you see directors have a certain tone that they carry through. And even though, yes, we're in Feige land and he's going to have his finger on whatever is happening, and so he's going to control it to make sure that it fits into the entire universe. Having an idea of her background and other projects that she's directed also will give us a little bit of a hint.
The only thing I've ever seen of hers, now she's got Nomadland, I believe that either has come out already this year or hasn't yet. The only thing I got turned on to this one movie she did called The Writer, only after I heard she was directing Eternals.
The Writer with a T or the Rider with a D?
Like it's about a cowboy suffers an injury, all this kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
I got turned on to that, brilliantly directed, but that's the only thing I've seen of her. So it's going to be interesting what we see. Now, some people may say, well, if she's never done anything like large scale, why do that? All I can say is go back to what Kevin Feige told me when I had him and James Gunn and Chris Pratt in studio to talk about Guardians. I asked Feige, I said, James Gunn, because you got to remember, before that first Guardians movie, James Gunn had done low budget, like a smaller stuff. Mm-hmm. And I said, was there any concern in your part for that? And because he hasn't done this. And all Kevin Feige said was, a good storyteller is a good storyteller. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if it's a $5,000 budget or a $500 million budget. There's no such thing as a $500 million budget, but I mean,
not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Because if you're a good storyteller, you're a good storyteller, and that's clearly the same approach Kevin.
Well, that's how you sometimes see people that, like we were talking about. What was that horrible trailer that you showed me the other day? The one that made me jump out of my skin, and I hate you for it.
Oh,
Lights Out.
Lights Out.
If you can tell.
That was fabulous. It was a short film, not a trailer. Was it that too?
Right. Sorry, a short film. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. No, it's great.
And you did scream. You scared Joey. You screamed so hard.
She jumped off of my lap. I was afraid that your neighbors were going to call the cops. I sounded like I was being stabbed. But that's the thing is, if you can tell a good story in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then you can tell a good story when you're given more money and more time. So, because in fact, that's one of the things that a lot of times filmmakers do have a problem with is, how do I tell a complete story in 10 minutes or 20 minutes? Well, if you can do that, well, then having extra time and extra money is just going to make your talent that much better, that much broader.
All right, question here is, guys, I want to know what you think about Kumail's comments here about Eternals. And I want to know what you guys think about Eternals in general. So I decided to make that the topic of today's question of the day. Just before the show started, I created this poll. And by the way, you can find this poll on the community tab on the YouTube channel. By the way, guys, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Keep up to date on everything going on, including the polls that we put up in the community tab. And I asked you guys just before the show started this simple question. I asked, Kumail Nanjiani is raving about the upcoming Marvel film Eternals. If you had to guess, where do you think Eternals will end up amongst the other MCU films? Right now, a little over 4,000 of you guys have voted, and here's how you guys have voted. Only 7% of you are guessing that Eternals is going to end up as a top 5 MCU movie. A full 47% of you think it's going to be a top 10 MCU movie. 39% of you thinking it's going to be in the bottom half of the MCU movies. And only 8% of you are worried that it might end up in the bottom 5 of the MCU. So it seems like everybody's feeling pretty good, not overly optimistic, but feeling pretty solid. Like I said, 54% of you are at least thinking it's going to be in the top half. So that's interesting to see. I'm going to leave this poll up for the rest of the day. Jump on over there. Again, it's in the community tab to register your vote. But for now, you guys can jump into the comment section below and leave your thoughts. What do you think about these comments? Where's your excitement for the Eternals right now? All right, guys.